afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our inaugural episode of The Finer Things. On our first episode of The Finer Things, we are going to be taking a look at Call Me By Your Name, the brand new Blu-ray release of the Academy Award-winning film starring Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer from Sony Pictures Classics. To get to the point, Call Me By Your Name is a movie about a gay relationship between a 17-year-old played by Timothée Chalamet and a 24-year-old grad student played by Armie Hammer that takes place in Italy during the summer of 1983. The film is very slowly paced in terms of building this relationship into its passionate climax, but it's also very realistic. It's very convincing. It's one of the few times that I've seen a movie about a burdening or kind of secret homosexual relationship that feels incredibly comfortable and confident in itself. It doesn't feel like it has to tiptoe around things or hide itself behind some sort of gimmick or make it feel contrived. In watching the film, I felt that it was very engaging in the way that it builds this relationship throughout the course of a summer. Ultimately, the story does end in a sort of heartbreak of sorts, as most of these films do, but rather than kind of just letting this devastation overcome you all at once, the film really slows down at the end and you really get to feel the pain and the suffering that comes with that kind of sudden detachment before you're allowed to move on with your life. I thought the film was brilliantly acted by Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer as leads, but I also thought that Michael Stroberg, who plays Timothée Chalamet's father, really shines, especially in his final moments of the film, and I definitely think this is a movie you should check out. Call Me By Your Name was shot on 35mm film and then cropped into the 1.85:1 aspect ratio during post-production. As a result, you would expect that this would be kind of a grainy, richly textured image, but instead it kind of has a filtered appearance in its 1080p presentation on Blu-ray. Grain is incredibly light and almost indistinguishable from the rest of the image. I felt some of the detail that was present underneath that grain when I saw it in theaters just didn't come out quite as clearly, especially when I upscaled this Blu-ray on my 4K television. I felt the colors were still quite competent with these lovely tones of yellows, greens, and blues that really help embody the Italian summer, but I didn't think that the overall detail and sharpness of the image was as strong as the presentation that I saw in theaters. In terms of sound design, the film is brought to Blu-ray with a 5.1 DTS Master Audio soundtrack. Dialogue is rooted firmly in the center channel, and the stereo channels to the left and right are mostly reserved for atmospheric effects such as cars moving across the screen or a waterfall in the distance that kind of envelopes our characters at certain sequences in the film. And the surrounds are pretty much non-existent. It's your standard drama, dialogue-driven track. Nothing too impressive here on the audio front. In terms of special features, you got 4 main pieces, and each one kind of adds a rich insight into how the film was made. You've got an audio commentary between Timothée Chalamet and Michael Stroberg, in which they share stories of the production and discuss the movie. You've got a 10-minute featurette about shooting the film in Italy, a 25-minute conversation with the lead actors and the director of the film from a film festival, and a Sufjan Stevens music video from the Oscar-nominated song from the movie. I felt they gave a pretty good insight into how the film was made, and they definitely are the reason why I believe you would go out and buy a Blu-ray purchase like this. They definitely add an extra layer to this Blu-ray release, which makes it essential that you go out and you support the physical release of this movie. In terms of its packaging, I would not say that Call Me By Your Name's packaging is one for the books. It's got your standard reproduction of the theatrical artwork on both the slipcover and the keep case. And on the back, you've got your standard 3 heads at the top, paragraph about the film at the bottom, and then a whole slew of production credits. As a result, I would not rush out to buy this one as a shelf piece. Overall, Call Me By Your Name is a beautiful, passionate, heartbreaking movie about 2 young men who fall in love and then have to live with the consequences of their actions as things kind of break apart at a glacial pace, as they kind of go back to reality from this incredible high that they've created with each other. In terms of this release, I would not give it high marks for its visual presentation, its audio, or its packaging, but I would say its special features are pretty stellar. And if you're into the, and if you really liked your behind-the-scenes insight into how films are made, this Blu-ray has it where it counts. And on that grounds, I would absolutely recommend this Blu-ray. Anyone else? If you just want to see the movie, you may not stoke your fire as aggressively. Alright guys, that's it for our first episode of The Finer Things. See you guys next time. Hopefully it's a little bit better put together and more comfortable. Till then, take it easy.